Hi, my name is Jennifer Tabor, and today I'll be sharing a qualitative research proposal focused on how alternative grading systems affect students' motivation and their perception of chemistry's real world relevance. We often think of grades as a reflection of success, test scores, point totals, and weighted average. But traditional grading can prioritize compliance over learning and create a high pressure environment that discourages risk taking and curiosity, especially in STEM classrooms such as chemistry. I want to better understand what happens when we shift the focus from collecting points to demonstrating understanding. Specifically, how do students feel about chemistry and its relevance when we change how we assess them? Research shows that traditional grading systems may actually undermine student motivation and engagement. Cohn, in 2021, argued that grades can distract from learning and foster competition rather than curiosity. In contrast, standards based grading and other alternative systems emphasize mastery, giving students multiple chances to learn and revise, and focusing feedback on what they understand rather than what they turned in on time. There's growing evidence that these approaches can improve equity, motivation, and ownership of learning. But there's a gap. Few studies focus on student perceptions, particularly in high school chemistry. This study aims to explore those perceptions, how students experience this shift in grading, what it does to their engagement, and whether it helps them see chemistry as something that matters outside the classroom. The purpose of this study is to explore how implementing an alternative grading system impacts 10th grade students' motivation and their sense of chemistry's real world relevance. I'll be exploring two questions. First, how does an alternative grading system influence students' perception of the real world relevance of chemistry? And secondly, how motivated and engaged are students when learning under this system? This study will take place at Wilmington Early College High School, a public early college located on a community college campus in Wilmington, North Carolina. The school serves primarily first generation college students, and most complete an associate's degree by the time they graduate high school. My participants will be among the 10th grade cohort, about 70 students, drawn from my own honors chemistry classes. I'll use a case study approach focusing on a real world classroom context over a single semester. Two of my classes will continue with traditional grading, while the other two will experience an alternative system. All students will receive the same instruction and assignments. The only difference is how their learning is assessed. To capture these student experiences, I'll use a variety of qualitative tools, such as pre and post surveys, classroom observations, student interviews, reflective memos, and some student work samples. Some sample interview questions that I might ask the students are: how has the way you're graded influenced how useful chemistry feels to you in real life? And do you feel like the way I assess your learning encourages you to keep trying, even when it's hard? There are many important ethical considerations, especially since I'm both the teacher and researcher. Students may feel pressured to participate or to say what they think I want to hear. To address this, I'll emphasize that participation is voluntary and won't affect their grades. Where possible, I'll use anonymous surveys and member checking to ensure students' voices are authentically represented. Because I'm personally invested in alternative grading, I'll take steps to reduce bias. These include keeping a reflective journal, using multiple data sources, and checking interpretations with student participants. So, why does this study matter? By exploring how students feel about learning under alternative grading, I hope to better understand what helps them stay motivated and engaged in chemistry. I want to know, do they see it as relevant? Do they feel more confident? Do they persist longer when points aren't the focus? Findings from this study could help guide future instructional decisions, not just for me, but for any educator considering moving away from traditional grading. It could also support more equitable, relevant STEM instruction, especially for students who don't always see themselves reflected in science classrooms. Throughout this process, I've come to appreciate how important alignment is in research. Revising my proposal helped me ensure that my research questions, data sources, and procedures all support the study's purpose. Using tools like Zotero and sample case study guides helped me stay organized and sharpen my questions. Instructor feedback gave me clarity and confidence that I was on the right track. I've learned that qualitative research, while less neat than quantitative data, offers rich insights that can shape how we teach and assess. And most importantly, it centers student voice. This process has made me more thoughtful about the way I design instruction and more confident in my ability to conduct meaningful research in my own classroom. Thank you.